Okay, so they found a tumor in my titty, so let's talk about it. So this started about a week or so ago. I started getting really just bad, intense pain in my breast. And I was like, oh, like I probably should get that checked out. So I told my doctor my symptoms, and you guys are gonna call me really stupid for this, okay? But in my defense, I've had so many hormone issues on and off for the last few years. My body's done a lot of weird stuff that doctors can never explain, so I didn't think anything of it. But the boob that I now know is a tumor has grown exponentially compared to my right one in the last 2 years. I know, it's bad. Okay, I get it. I know. So the doctor, of course, was like, girl. And I was like, I'm sorry, okay. And he's like, all right, like, we're gonna send you to an ultrasound, like, as soon as possible. So literally the next day, I'm in getting an ultrasound done. So anyways, did the ultrasound. The girl who did the ultrasound was really sweet, gave me her phone number because, like, I'm new to the area. And, like, I don't know, like, it was pretty chill, or so I thought. The next day, I called the clinic that initially gave, like, the order for the ultrasound. So I said, hey, like, I'm just curious, has the results come in yet? And they were like, oh, no, like, don't worry about it. Like, we haven't gotten any results. Like, they were checking the files and everything. And they said, once the results come in, we're probably going to contact you in about 2 days. So, like, don't worry, like, we'll reach out to you. So I was like, oh, okay. Which maybe this should have been a red flag, but they contacted me 2 hours later trying to book an appointment. But I was pretty busy because I'm still in the process of moving and everything. And so I had to go back to my hometown for like 4 days. So I couldn't do that doctor's visit until I got back. So I get back and like my partner's like, hey, do you want me to come in or can I just stay in the car? And I was like, oh no, just stay in the car. It's not a big deal because like my Nana had cysts in her boobs and they gave pretty similar symptoms. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like I'm sure it's just that. So I sit down and the doctor gets the radiologist report back and he's like, we need to send you for a mammogram and a biopsy. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So he didn't give me too much information, sent off the referral. I got a phone call from the place he sent the referral off to like an hour after that appointment. So they wanted me in really fast and I booked it for the next day. So I meet the lady who's doing my mammogram and I ask her, like, can you bring up the report from the radiologist for my ultrasound? Because I just, like, I didn't really hear much from the doctor about it. So she pulled it up and she's like, yeah, here, take a look. And I did see him talk about, like, a tumor. And I was like, oh, shit, like, there is a tumor. But he said in the report, like, I can't tell if it's benign or I can't say the other word, malignant, aggressive. So I was like, oh, okay. And it's just like, yeah, you need, like, a biopsy. So the lady was super chill and she's like, oh, don't worry. Like, I mean, don't want to get your hopes up, but like, we see this a lot and there's a good chance that a benign tumor can cause like nerve pain. So I was like, oh, okay, sounds great. She was pretty confident. And then I took my shirt off and pulled my titties out. And she was like looking at my nipples and she's like, that one's a little inverted. And I was like, oh, God, yeah, it is. I honestly didn't realize it until literally that moment when I'm looking down. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, so anyways, we continue with the mammogram. And it kind of went like this. And so, like, I'm talking to her like normal. We're just chatting a bit. And then she looks at the mammogram. And now, keep in mind, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to just go for the mammogram and then go to the front and book the biopsy for, like, whenever their next availability is. But she's looking at this like mammogram like of both my boobs and she's like, hey, can you like wait over here for a hot minute? I need to just go talk to somebody really quick. So I'm waiting, she goes, and apparently she was talking to their ultrasound tech and she wanted her to look at my mammogram photos. And the tech looked at my mammogram photos and was like, we need to give her another ultrasound. So they get me in the room, they get me back in my gown again, and they're like, hey, like, you just need to wait here. We're squeezing you in between appointments. Because keep in mind, they're super packed. But they're like, nope, like, this just kind of feels important, so we're just going to squeeze you in between. So I was like, okay. And then before I leave, she gives me a card that says what breast cancer looks like with the lemons. No, playing devil's advocate, she could totally just give that to anybody, any woman that comes in, just for knowledge, because it's really good knowledge to know what the symptoms are. But you know, it's a little intimidating with the situation. So finally I get put in the room and the lady comes in to do my ultrasound, and we're just talking a little bit, and she's like this, she's ultrasounding, and she gets like not even halfway over my left boob, and she's like, I'll be right back. I need to go talk to the doctor real quick. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, go for it, for sure. So she leaves for like a couple minutes, comes back and like gets the thing, and she scans again. She's going through, and then she stops and she's like, hey, like, I don't know if you're busy or not, but I really, really, really want to like do a biopsy on you like right away. And I was like, no, actually that works out great for me. I can get it all done in one day and I don't have to come back. But she's like, yeah, I just have to make sure the doctor's available though. So anyway, she goes, talks to the doctor, and unfortunately the doctor's just so jam-packed and busy, he couldn't fit me in. So she's like, I'm sorry, like, unfortunately you're just gonna have to go and book up at the front. And I was like, hey, I get it. It's packed right now. I'm thankful you guys even got me in to, you know, do the ultrasound. So I go to the front and I'm like trying to book in for the next like available appointment for the biopsy. And like I'm talking to the receptionist, and then all of a sudden like a couple people walk out, a couple women walk out, and they start talking to the receptionist. And I think that they were like, well, they were talking about me, and they were like trying to fit me in as soon as possible. And like they're like all talking, trying to figure it out. And then the receptionist turns to me, she's like, hey, can you like go take a seat? We need to like sort this out for a couple minutes. So I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. So I go and I sit down for like 10 minutes. And then I get called back up, and she's like, hey, like, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but like we only have an availability on the 9th for your biopsy. But we really want to get you in. So like, we're going to put you on like the cancellation list. So if somebody cancels, then we'll call you and like, we'll get you in right away. So I was like, oh no, like that's totally fine. Like, thanks for trying to get me in sooner. And like, I went to the car and I like sat down, and I was just like, and so now I am waiting for my biopsy, and I'm really hoping that they can get me in before the 9th, because this waiting period is terrible, I'm not gonna lie. Because it's weird, because it's like, you know there's a tumor, but you don't know how severe it is. You don't know if it's cancerous. You don't know if it's spread. You just don't know. And like, honestly, like if at least I knew how to prepare myself. And then like, that being said, another part of me is like, if I do worry about that, like, and it turns out it's not, then I kind of feel like over dramatic. So I had all these plans when I moved out here, like to start a new job or like to figure stuff out. Like right now I'm not working or anything, but I was excited to do that. But now I'm kind of on a pause until like we get the results of whatever's going on here, because that is definitely going to determine a lot of my future. But yeah, so that's just kind of what I'm doing. And I'm just kind of trying to distract myself while my man's working his butt off. And I'm just here trying not to think about it, trying not to stress about it. But it's definitely interesting. So I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, let me know if you guys have had any similar experiences or any tips on how to handle that like waiting period. Because it's interesting.